Hi, I'm Carrie, teen librarian here, and I'm back at it with another takeaways for teens. It's October, so you'd think we'd do something Halloween-like, but we're doing so much Halloween around here, and that is not to say anything negative about Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. But you know how to carve a pumpkin. If I could even fit a carvable pumpkin in a bag to give to you in the first place. You know how to paint a pumpkin. You know probably how to do really cool makeup for Halloween costumes. You probably know more about that than I do, honestly. Best I've ever done was to paint my face entirely white and then do it up like Jigsaw from the Saw movies for a scavenger hunt last year. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, I stumbled across some things as I was doing research and found that it was National Postcard Month. Except if you've already read the brochure, the flyer I made that's in your bag, you know that it isn't. Because National Postcard Month, I was going to say doesn't exist, but it does now because I say it does. There's actually a World Postcard Day that exists. I think it's early October, and there's a postcard week that's back earlier in the year, but there was no National Postcard Day until now, and it's founded here in Wisconsin in the year of our Lord 2021 by a unknown librarian. It deserves a month. Postcards are cool. There's a whole field called Deltiology. It's postcard collecting. And some of these postcard collectors are hardcore. They'll make sure that they don't have any markings from the stamps, or sometimes they make sure that they have the correct postal markings. Some people collect only postcards from certain areas. Some people only collect postcards from certain eras. Some people are trying to collect postcards from every gosh darn country, hamlet on this planet, and more power to them. Personally, I think there's just something nice about getting a postcard in the mail. These days, the only snail mail you can reliably get is really impersonal, kind of addressed to the recipient, to the resident. Maybe it's a reminder that your dental appointment is coming up. But I don't know how many of you are on something called Patreon. You know what Patreon is, I hope. Basically, it's this site, this program where artists, creators, writers, the creators of all kinds can create an account, and you can subscribe to support that particular creator, and they have different rewards at different levels. And some of the creators that I support send out monthly postcards to a certain level of their subscribers. It's so neat every month to get postcards with personalized paintings, drawings on them. It reminds me of when I was an elementary school kid and they assigned us pen pals and we would do drawings because we didn't really know what to write in a letter. Anyway, postcards have a really interesting history. They started off being a little bit sassy. The very first postcard that we think we have on record was from what? It was 1840, and it was a prank. Some guy sent it to himself, and we're pretty sure it's a prank because it was a caricature of the postal workers who delivered it. It wasn't the first official postcard. They didn't have the rates and everything established. They didn't have the sizes that it needed to be. But that was the start of something. They started becoming more official around the 1860s. And they've never really stopped. Even as people switched over to email and texting and all of that, the postcard, well, it's still around. I said in the flyer that I made that maybe they were more like texting is to email, but I think I've changed my mind since I wrote that. A postcard is more like a tweet because you really have only so much space to write in, and so you've got to really condense your thoughts you have more than 140 characters if you write really small, but it's the same kind of principle. Just a short little message to send to someone to tell them you're thinking about them. And what better way to tell someone you're thinking about them than to make sure that that postcard is one of a kind, made by you to them. Here's where things start getting really fun. There are a million ways to do up a postcard. In the course of this couple weeks when I've been looking into this, I've seen people who have sewn postcards. Well, they sew part of it and then they use iron fusible web to glue it to the card somehow. I've seen people who have done just gorgeous, like screen printing on a large piece of stock and then cut it into postcards so that no two of them are alike. I've just seen all kinds of things. And cyanotypes, where you put a chemical on the cardboard and put something on the chemical and leave it out in the sun so it sort of makes an X-ray type thing. I've seen people use old vintage postcards and sort of recycle them and jazz them up with various modern touches. I don't happen to have any vintage postcards, so I couldn't give them out to you to try that. I tried some of the techniques that I thought I could be relatively successful at. I don't think we had any major catastrophes, but that'll be up for you to decide. So, you've got your postcards in hand, or if you're just watching this and you didn't pick up a kit at the library, you didn't sign up for it, if you've got some cardstock or some blank postcards that you've gotten on your own, you follow along. Try some of these. Try not to laugh too hard at my expense. Alright, so we had some technical difficulties and my first video didn't take. Bump. So we'll do it over again now. This is the back of the postcard. Your stamp, where you write their address. If you want to put your return address, you're going to stick it up here in the corner. And this is where you're going to put your message. Write small if you have a lot to write. Write pretty using the gel pens. However you want to do it. And here is your canvas. This is where you're going to put your lovely art. See? So clear your desktop, especially if you're going to do any painting. Make sure it's protected. Get ready to go. Now the first one I want to show you is an easy one I made yesterday. It's basically a coloring page. You can draw it yourself if you're artistically inclined, or you can print out one, like I did. And you can decorate it using tape or stickers. Here, let's do another one. Got my blank card here, make sure it's right side up, and have your picture. In my experience now, it's a little easier if you trim it so it's a little bit smaller than the card. So that way the glue can cover the surface and you won't have any overlap. Maybe if I fold down this edge. You don't want to do this, actually. You're going to want to trim if you have scissors nearby, because any thickness beyond, like, much past a piece of cardstock, the postmaster doesn't like. It doesn't go through their machines very nicely, the postcard machines. So, thin, thin, thin is the ticket. Glue stick will work. Regular glue. I wouldn't use hot glue, it adds a dimension there. So, nicely done there. Isn't it gorgeous? You could just leave it like that, or you can jazz it up a little bit. I have given each of you a lovely roll of washi tape. If you've never used it, it's basically like mildly sticky paper. It's great for decoration. Not great for holding things down, so I wouldn't use it to secure the picture onto the card, but you can certainly use it around the edges. Makes it nice and pretty. The ones I've given you are really, really thin strips. You can get thicker rolls of washi tape, make a thicker border around the edge. I've seen some people use them, incorporate them into other mixed media type of art, and that's really neat too. You could go all around the edges, you could go diagonal, you can do what you want, kind of like painting with paper. So that's nice. It tears really easily off the edges. So the second one here is also really simple, that I did yesterday. I just used that there in the middle is a sticker. You'll notice I put stickers in your bags. I always put stickers in the bags. I've put big stickers, I put little stickers, and
You can feel free to decorate however you see fit, be it weird with strange stickers, be it small and decorative stickers. You can make into sort of a collage or a scene as you see fit, and you can decorate with other things too. The one thing I will recommend is that you stay away from the puffy stickers. Anything three-dimensional like this is going to go against the Postmaster's rules. Now, beyond the sticker, I decorated with some paint markers. You can use other kinds of paint if you like, or other kinds of markers. I recommend that you put some paper down underneath of your card, or you end up staining the desk, which is bad if it doesn't belong to you. Alright, we're going to try a different technique here now. I read that if you use watercolors, keep them nice and wet, and then you sprinkle that wet watercolor paint with salt, you can get an interesting texture as the salt sort of pushes the pigment away or something. I don't understand the science behind it, but whatever. I'm going to give it a shot, and we're going to hope that it looks like something slightly more sophisticated than a kindergartner's finger paint. I don't know. We'll see. I saw some people doing it with like abstract washes of color, but I don't have the bone in my body that lets anything like that look remotely artistic, so we're just gonna kind of wing it like this. You know, when I started doing this, I told Miss Keiko I was looking for the watercolors in our workroom, and she handed me this rather professional looking set. I said, I don't think anything I'm doing is going to be worth hauling out that. Let's just stick with the Crayola that costs 99 cents in the store and see what happens. Alright, so here we go with some salt. Sprinkle it on there. I heard actually that using kosher salt, bigger grains, has more of an effect, but you know, we'll find out. A little more color. Okay, so it turns out that painting over the salt does weird things to your brush. You have to keep kind of clumps it up. That's not what I wanted. More salt. I think I might have swept it up in the brush. Okay. Yeah, more. Alright. Let's do something now maybe on the lower half of the card. What do you think? I was thinking about doing something maybe sort of like a landscape. Different shades of green. Like that. Make sure you go all the way to the edge of the card, which is why we put the paper underneath, so you can go all the way to the edge without coloring that nice light wood. More salt, sprinkle it on, and wait that to dry. Now, I read about this, just in passing, and I'm interested to see if it works. We're supposed to flick the paint on there, and it makes for just little tiny, hopefully, little standing up lines that can be stemmed. It's not really working very well. They're not all that visible. I was hoping they'd be more visible. Maybe it's just yellow watercolor doesn't stand out enough to be stems there. Tap it onto? No, that doesn't really work either. What if maybe I tried using a darker color? Brown is definitely more visible. Oh, crud. What have I done to my sky? I've got a big, I don't know, the bird pooped in the sky. I've got to find some way to fix this. What can I do? The sun will cover it up, right? Nice, bright, orange, kindergarten-looking sun. Okay, how about some yellow around the sun? Maybe make it a little less stark. Oh my gosh, this is not good. Okay, I have to blend this a little more. It's sort of a peach sun now. But maybe if we add a little more differentiation between the colors. How about some white? If I throw some white in there and help spread that out, that might help. Give it a few rays, because the sun isn't just a ball in the sky. It spreads out. It's like a nebulous shape. Oh, good grief. Now it looks like even more kindergarten art. I might as well draw a big happy face in the middle and name him Mr. Sun. I'd better move on from this before I get even worse. Let's try a different technique for these stems without flicking anything and risking having to add more suns. This is a Well, it's a seam ripper that I happen to have on my desk because I don't have any toothpicks or any more thin brushes. This is not going the way I wanted it to. Let's add some orange flowers, spots, leaves. How far away from these are we? Are they trees or are they flowers? The world may never know. I'm not going to give it any more scale. Now it's time to brush that salt off because it's all dry, and at least we'll have that going for us. You know, whatever. Let's try something else. Let's switch away from the watercolors, step away from the brushes, and we're gonna go back to paint markers. I feel more confident with these. So I'm just gonna draw circles because any idiot can draw a circle, right? No, that's wrong. I should not call anyone names, and that includes me. Be nice to yourself, guys. Just the same as you would expect someone to be nice to you, you gotta be nice to yourself. But know your limits, and we're just gonna go with circles. Different colors of circles all over the thing. Circles are pretty. Ooh, I like this bright pink. And you don't have to worry about any kind of details. These, just polka dot, polka dot, polka dot. Maybe one more color. Just some nice extra blue here. So I've got almost the whole thing covered, and now it's time just to fill in a little white around them. Not white, yellow. See? I totally. You know, once when I was in middle school, we had to do one of those art projects where you used I was going to say overhead projector, and I realize you guys probably don't know what an overhead projector was, but basically we use this thing to trace the silhouette of a particular photograph we'd found somewhere, and then use it to cut out that and then paint around the paint. So it's supposed to be a big silhouette shape around something that is the same picture. Only I actually accidentally did the whole thing backwards. I had a guy running in one direction, and then I had his silhouette facing the other direction, and that's the kind of artist I am. One thing you can say for me is that I don't give up. Let's try these evil, accursed watercolors one more time, shall we? Now this is a particular experiment that I've been wanting to try for some time. Basically, this watercoloring is just going to be a base behind it. I'm going to just not even try for anything, not abstract this time. I'm just going to cover this with a sort of gradient of colors. I'm just going to kind of mix them together, going from one corner to the side, because it's not going to be the focus of the card. Like I say, it's the background. Come on. This is not interesting at all, because I want to get to the good part. But in order to do the good part, this part has to be done and dried. I suppose if I really wanted to, I could have used a bigger brush or something. That might have worked. But we go with what we go with, and we're almost done this part anyway. Nice and pink to the end. There we go, and it's really kind of, it could use some smoothing. I saw this technique too, using a piece of paper and just kind of smearing around it. It also helps it dry faster, so I can get to the fun part. You'll see. So this is contact paper. Basically, it's a clear kind of adhesive tape almost, and it's stuck to a piece of wax paper so it comes off. I should have held this up higher, but basically I've drawn a heart on the paper side, and now I'm just cutting it out, so you'll see in a second. My eyes aren't so great, so I have to hold it close to my face in order to cut. Okay. So, now we have a beautiful heart. Alright, so you see it there. And now I've got this mixture here. It is equal parts dish soap and acrylic paint. It makes it really kind of runny, a little bit bubbly. But wait till you see, hopefully, it do what it's supposed to do. We're going to take a brush and we're just going to paint, this time not on the paper side. We're going to paint on the clear side. Just cover it up. And we're going to make a little silver heart. The tutorial I took this from said to use double-sided tape to hold it in place. I opted to ignore that advice because I like the challenge of chasing the thing I'm painting. You really need a couple of, they say, thin layers of this paint to make this work. One person said that they thought it worked better with a sponge brush to make it less streaky. I am finding that the sponge does the job of putting bubbles in the dish detergent. So now I've got a bubbly heart. The streaks weren't that bad, I don't think, but the bubbles certainly are. This is annoying. I'm just wiping the paint off at this point. But at least it is having the effect of making the layers thin. They need to be thin. They need to be dry. This part basically needs to be perfect before we can move on. Maybe I'll let this dry and then come back and deal with the bubbles. Alright, so now we have a lovely little heart. For now, we're not going to peel it off its backing. We're going to work around it. I'm just putting it in place so I can see where it's going to go. I'm going to take some of these gel pens, as you have in your bag. I'm just going to use them to write a little message around the heart. Right? So, just going to write, they're not fond of the watercolor. I suppose I could have waited a little bit longer, but also I think some of that darn salt might have gotten onto this. So, I don't know what comes underneath this. Oh, but first there's a little secret. You'll see. Just a little tiny message that we're going to cover up. And we're going to write why. Darn salt. Could have painted this. I'm so good with paint. Luckily, it's a very short word. You know how this goes. Now that that's done, I'm going to take this little heart and I'm going to peel away the backing, and I'm going to stick it right there over my message. See? I love you. Very innocuous, very mild. I think I might just add a few little hints here. So in silver to match the heart, I'm writing small, but I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see a little bit more later. I've written the words scratch me. And looks a little plain on here, so I'm going to add a few more hearts. Looks like you can't see them on the camera, but I promise you can. They're just kind of little subtle hearts. You could do other things, of course. You can do whatever you want. Put more stickers on. I suggest not glitter unless you're going to use some sort of clear coat spray over them, because the postman does not like glitter. Alright, so scratch me. The recipient will scratch away the silver, and I really miss you. It's a scratch off, like the lottery. Only instead of money, they won a note brightening their day.
So you've got postcards. Yay! But they don't do you a whole lot of good until you send them out into the world to share them. That's really the postcard's purpose. And I've given you a list of some places you can go to exchange postcards. Of course, there's always the option of sending them to friends and family, and I'm sure there are plenty of your friends and family members who could really use a pickup. There's a lot going on out there right now that can really beat your spirit down. So, something nice coming from someone unexpected or expected, however you want it to play, it's nice. You open your mailbox and you see something just for you. So whether you know the person you're sending them to or not, send them out. Make some new friends, cheer up some old friends, and enjoy our brand new monthly holiday. I'll check back with you in a year to see if you want to do it again. Maybe we can spread the word. Maybe we can make this thing a phenomenon. Maybe we can join the community of Deltiologists and end up with a wall strung full of all of the lovely postcards we've received. I don't know. Maybe you're just gonna have a little fun for an afternoon. I hope you have more than that. And I hope you remember to put that piece of paper underneath any postcards you're gonna send before you start painting and end up dyeing your desktop surface, especially if it's your work desk. You guys take care. See you next time. Oh, meant to say, starting in January, we really are going to start trying to transition this into like an in-person program. Imagine, it's totally new. Blows your mind. Programs that take place face-to-face in the library, not over the computer. I know a lot of people may not be comfortable, may still be a little uncomfortable about going out and being shoulder to shoulder with other people in public. So we'll try to still keep virtual aspects, pretty much every program we're doing around here, because I think it's here to stay. I think the video programs are not going away anytime soon. But I'm looking forward to seeing you guys face to face too. And I hope you're looking forward to seeing each other face to face. So, that's coming in the new year. For now, I'll see you next time.